Alright guys, welcome to this deck review. Today we are going to unbox the mine Flayarrrs deck from Wizards of the Coast, Magic the Gathering. This deck was just released about a month ago. And yeah, I'm just really excited to open this with you guys and show you what's inside. So this is an unboxing video and showing you what is inside this deck. So yeah, this is the back. You can pause the video right now to see what it says. I'm not going to, because these three cards we all have in the deck, and I'm going to unbox it and let you guys see all the deck. So yeah, let's do this. We're gonna take this thing. We're just gonna yank some more. Grab this, pull everything out. Nothing else in this box, and then I'm going to put this off to the side as well as this. Alright, let's see, we've got that, and I don't exactly know what that is. And we've got these things, and we've got this face commander, which isn't the commander. So yeah, Commander Legends, Dungeons and Dragons, Battle for Baldur's Gate. Let's just open this up here. We're gonna open up everything. This is the deck box. We're going to do that first, because that's probably the most. So we got this nice cool deck box, nice creepy guy in the back, Dungeons and Dragons symbol on both sides. Well, Dungeons and Dragons plus Magic the Gathering. Baldur's Gate on top. We're gonna put this off to the side. And then we've got a nice life counter that goes up. Up to 40. And if we turn it over, down to 1, I do believe. Yep, down to 1. So yep, that's cool. We got this nice box thing. I guess you could use if you wanted to. We've got a Collector's Boosters sample pack. So yeah, we're just gonna open this up and see what we got. Alright, you ready? Ooh, we got Miram, Sentimental Worm. And we got a Matching Doom Drone. Whenever a matching Doom Drone attacks, each player creates a treasure token. That's nice. Then we got this Secret Lair card. That is very cool. I'm going to put these cards over to the side. Alright, then we've got this thing. I'm going to just open it up. Here, I'm going to take this off camera so I can open it up. And then you can read it if you want to. Like, pause the video and read it. But it just explains how to play the deck, the commander rules, and all that. And then we have a nice cool picture. So pause the video right now if you want to read all this. And then on the back, it just says Captain Negathorod with Captain Negathorod with these things on the side. So yep, let me fold this back up. Put this off to the side. And we've got the most exciting part, in my opinion, the deck. We find out where this opens quickly. Found it. Kind of. Oh. There we go. Alright, we got popular Magic the Gathering formats and then all these tokens. Let me take all these tokens away. We have the Undercity and the Initiative. Put that to the side. We're going to go through this magnificent deck. I'm going to zoom in a teensy tiny bit. There we go. Alright. Now you guys should be able to read the card in all of its glory. I'm going to split this in half. Attempt to put this other half right here, and we're going to go through this half right now. So obviously we have Captain Nagatharod 3, a blue and a black for a 3/6 legendary creature, horror pirate. Horrors you control have menace. Whenever a horror you control deals combat damage to a player, that player mills that many cards. At the beginning of your end step, choose target artifact or creature in an opponent's graveyard that was put there in their library this turn, and play it onto the battlefield under your control. So yeah, pretty cool guy. We're gonna put this guy over here. And then we have the second commander pairing with a background. We have Zelix and Hunted One. So you can either take Zelix and Hunted One or Captain Nagatharod, whichever one you choose. I'm probably going to choose Captain Nagatharod though. Zelix, Xanady Mind Flayarr. Zelix, Xanady Flare, not Mind Flayer. 2 in the blue, or a legendary creature, horror. Hive Mind. Whenever a player mills one or more creature cards, you create a 1/1 black horror creature token. 1. Tap Zelix. Target player mills 3 cards. Choose a background. You may have a background as your second commander. Haunted One. Commander creatures you control have, whenever this creature becomes tapped, it and other creatures that share a creature type with it gets +2/+0 and gain Undying till end of turn. When a creature with Undying dies, if it had no +1/+1 counters on it, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control with a +1/+1 counter on it. Arcane Signet. 2 mana for an artifact. Add 1 mana in your commander's color identity. Mind Stone. 2 for tap this card, or 1, tap this card, sacrifice Mind Stone, draw a card. Command Tower. Add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. Fact or fiction. Reveal the top 5 cards of your library. An opponent separates those cards into 2 piles. Put 1 pile into your hand and the other into your graveyard. Flayarrrs. 1 and a black for a 2/1 shadow. This creature can't be blocked. Can block or be blocked only by creatures with shadow. Flayarrrs can't be blocked by white creatures. Dusk Mangler. 5 and 2 black for a creature horror. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature, discard a card, or pay for life. When Dusk Mangler enters the battlefield, each opponent sacrifices a creature, discards a card, and loses 4 life. Feed the Swarm. 1 in a black for a sorcery, destroy target creature or enchantment an opponent controls. You lose life equal to that permanent's mana value. Phyrexian Ranger. 2 in a black for a 2/2 creature. Whenever Phyrexian Ranger enters the battlefield, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. Plague Spitter. 2 in a black for a creature, Phyrexian Horror, 2/2. At the beginning of your upkeep, Plague Spitter deals 1 damage to each creature and each player. When Plague Spitter dies, Plague Spitter deals 1 damage to each creature and each player. Ravenous Chupacabra. 2 and 2 black, 2 and a black for a 2/2 creature beast horror. When Ravenous Chupacabra enters battlefield, destroy target creature and opponent controls. 2/2. Scythian Mind. 3 and a black for a sorcery. Each player discards a card. You draw a card for each way. Discard this way. For each card, discard this way. Drown the Loch a blue and a black for an instant. Choose one. Counter target spell with mana value less than or equal to the number of cards in its controller's graveyard. Or destroy target creature with mana value less than or equal to the number of cards in its controller's graveyard. Extract from Darkness. 3, a blue and a black for a sorcery. Each player mills 2 cards. Then you put a creature card from a graveyard to the battlefield under your control. To mill a card is a player puts the top card of their library into their graveyard. Dimmer Kyrune. For 3 mana, artifact. Tap. Add blue or black. Blue and black. Dimmer Kyrune becomes a 2/2 blue and black horror artifact creature until end of turn and can't be blocked this turn. Dimmer Signet. For 2 mana, you pay 1 and tap this card, add a blue and a black. Everflowing Chalice. For 0 mana, multi-kicker 2, you may pay an additional 2 any number of times you cast this spell. Everflowing Chalice enters the battlefield with a charge counter for each time it was kicked. Add 1 generic mana for each charge counter on Everflowing Chalice. Herald's Horn. For 3 mana, artifact. As Herald's Horn enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Creature spells you cast of the chosen type cost 1 less to cast. At the beginning of the upkeep, look at the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, chosen type, in this case horror, you may reveal it and put it into your hand. Lightning Greaves. For 2 mana, generic mana, you get equipped creature, has haste and shroud. It can't be the targets of spells or abilities. Equip cost 0. Mind Crank. For 2 mana, you get an artifact. Whenever an opponent loses life, that player mills that many cards. Soul Ring. For 1 generic mana, tap this card, add 2 generic mana. Talisman of Dominance. For 2 mana, you may tap this card and add 1 generic mana. Or you can tap this card and add blue or black. Talisman of Dominance deals 1 damage to you. Thought Vessel. For 2 mana, you get a land, and that says you have no maximum hand size. Tap, add colorless. Ash Barrens. We're into the lands now. Ash Barrens. Tap, add 1. Basic land cycling for 1. 1. Discard this card. Search your library for a basic land card, reveal it by into your hand, then shuffle. Dimmer Aqueduct. Guys, I want to say this now. I'm sorry if I pronounce anything wrong. Land. Dimmer Aqueduct enters the battlefield tapped. When Dimmer Aqueduct enters the battlefield, return a land you control to its owner's hand. Tap this card, add blue and black. Myriad Landscape. Myriad Landscape enters the battlefield tapped. Tap this card, add 1 generic mana. 2 and tap this card. Sacrifice Myriad Landscape. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards that share a land type. Put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Path of Ancestry. Path of Ancestry enters the battlefield tapped. Tap this card. Add 1 mana of any color in your commander's identity. When that mana is spent to cast a creature spell that shares a creature type with your commander, scry 1. Port of Carfell. Port of Carfell enters the battlefield tapped. Tap this card. Add a blue. For 3, a blue and 2 blacks, you can tap this card, sacrifice Port of Carfell, mill 4 cards, then return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. To mill a card is to put the top card of your library into your graveyard. Amalith Spawn. For 2 in the blue, you get a creature fish horror. Flash, Ward 2, Probing Telepathy. Whenever a creature entering the battlefield under an opponent's control causes a trigger ability that creature, to trigger, you may copy that ability. You may choose new targets for that ability. Hope we're on to new creatures. Enchant creature you control. For 2 in the blue, you get Endless Evil. Enchantment Arua. Enchant creature you control. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a token that's a copy of enchanted creature, except it's a 1/1. When an enchanted creature dies, if that creature was a horror, return Endless Evil to its owner's hand. Grell Philosopher. For 2 in the blue, you get a 1/4 creature horror wizard. Arrogant Tinkering. When Grell Philosopher enters the battlefield, in the beginning of your upkeep, each horror you control gains all activated abilities of target artifact and opponent controls until end of turn. You may spend blue mana as though it were mana of any color to activate these abilities. Very powerful card. Sorcery. Psychonic Ritual. For 4 and 2 blue, you get a sorcery. Replicate. Tap an untapped horror you control. When you cast this spell, copy it for each time you paid to replicate cost. You may choose new targets for these copy. Exile target instant or sorcery card from a graveyard and copy it. You may cast the copy without paying its mana cost. Exile Psychonic Ritual. Brain Stealer Dragon. For 5 and 2 black, you get a 6/6 creature dragon horror flying. At the beginning of your end step, exile the top card of each opponent's library. You may play those cards as long as they remain exiled. If you cast a spell this way, you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast it. Whenever a non-land permanent an opponent controls enters the battlefield under your control, they lose life equal to its mana value. Very powerful card. From the Catacombs. Put target card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control with a corpse counter on it. You take the initiative. If that creature would leave the battlefield, exile it instead of putting it anywhere else. And for Escape, 3 and 2 black, exile 5 other cards from your graveyard. You may cast this card from your graveyard for its escape cost. Urchlon. For 3 in the black, you get a creature, Crab Ooze Horror. You get Star and 4 for its power and toughness. Urchlon's power is equal to the number of crabs, oozes, and or horrors you control. Horrific Symbiosis. At the beginning of your end step, exile up to 1 target creature card from an opponent's graveyard. If you do, create a token that's a copy of Urchlon. Chasm Skulker. For 2 in the blue, you get a creature, Squid Horror. Whenever you draw a card, put a +1/+1 counter on Chasm Skulker. When Chasm Skulker dies, create X 1/1 blue squid creature tokens with Island Walk, where X is the number of +1/+1 counters on Chasm Skulker. They can't be blocked as long as the vending player controls an island, and that is Island Walk. And by the way, this guy's a 1/1. Next, guys, Forgotten Creation. For 3 in the blue, you get a 3/3 creature zombie horror. Skulk. This creature can't be blocked by creatures with greater power. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may discard all the cards in your hand. If you do, draw that mini card. Fractured Sanity. For blue, and blue, you get a sorcery. Each player mills 14 cards, cycling 1 and a blue. Discard this card, draw a card. When you cycle Fractured Sanity, each opponent mills 4 cards. Not as bad. Gralax, Lithered Schooler. For 1, a blue, and a blue, you get a 3/2 legendary creature, Horror. Whenever a creature you control becomes blocked, you may return it to its owner's hand. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. Sorry, before I continue, I really want to just straighten up all this stuff. There we go. Alright, that guy goes there. Ooh, this guy. For 5, a blue and a blue, you get a Hullbreaker Horror, 7/8 Creature Kraken Horror. This spell can't be countered. By the way, this guy's Flash. Whenever you cast a spell, choose up to 1. Return target card spell you don't control to its owner's hand. Return target non-land permanents to its owner's hand. So it's like a Cyclonic Rift. Nice. This next one I really like. Leyline of Anticipation. 2, a blue and a blue for an enchantment. If Leyline of Anticipation is in your opening hand, you may begin the game with it on the battlefield. You may cast spells as though they had flash. Very, very good. Mind Flare. For 3, a blue and a blue, you get a 3/3 creature horror. Dominate monster. When Mind Flare enters the battlefield, gain control of target creature for as long as you control Mind Flare. Overcharged Emmaglan. For 2 and a blue, a blue and a blue, you get a 3/3 flash. You get a 2 for 2, a blue and a blue, you get a creature zombie horror 3/3. Flash flying. Exploit. When this creature enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice a creature. When overcharged Emmaglan exploits a creature, counter target spell, activate ability, or triggered ability. This one's cool. Pool from Tomorrow. X, blue, blue. Instant. Draw X cards, then discard a card. Reflections of Litajar. 4 and a blue for an enchantment. As Reflections of Litajar enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Whenever you cast a spell of the chosen type, copy that spell. A copy of a permanent spell becomes a token. This guy goes with my enchantments. Sludge Monster. 3, a blue and a blue for a creature horror. When Sludge Monster enters the battlefield or attacks, play slime counter on up to 1 target creature. Non-horror creatures with slime counters on them lose all abilities and have base power and toughness 2/2. 5/5. Wharf Infiltrator. 1 and a blue for a 1/1 creature human horror. Skulk. This creature can't be blocked by creatures with greater power. When Wharf Infiltrator deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. Whenever you discard a creature card, you may pay 2. If you do, create a 3/2 colorless Eldrazi horror creature token. Ooh, this has to be my favorite enchantment up next. Black Market. For 3, a black and a black, you get an enchantment. Whenever a creature dies, put a charge counter in Black Market. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, add black for each charge counter on Black Market. Enchantments go there. Crippling Fear. 2, a black and a black for a sorcery. This is a board wipe, by the way. Choose a creature type. Creatures that aren't of the chosen type get -3 until end of turn. Curtain's Call. 5 and a black for an instant. Undaunted. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each opponent. Destroy 2 target creatures. Dark Hatchling. 4, a black and a black for a creature horror. 3/3. Flying. When Dark Hatchling enters the battlefield, destroy target non-black creature. It can't be regenerated. Alright, this next guy's pretty interesting. Dross Harvester. 1, a black and a black creature horror. Protection. 4/4. Creature horror. Protection from white. At the beginning of your end step, you lose 4 life. Whenever a creature dies, you gain 2 life. Guilt Feeder. 3, a black and a black for a 0/4 creature horror. Fear. This creature can't be blocked except by artifact creatures and or black creatures. Whenever Guild Fear attacks and isn't blocked, the defending player loses 1 life for each card in their graveyard. Hex. 4, a black and a black. Sorcery destroys 6 target creatures. Haunted Horror. Black, creature, horror. 7/7. Trample. When Haunted Horror enters the battlefield, target opponent creates 2/3/3 green Centaur creature tokens with protection from black. Ingart's Wake. 7, a black and a black for a sorcery. Destroy all creatures you don't control and all planeswalkers you don't control. Night Howler. 1, a black and a black for a 0/0 enchanted creature horror. Bestow. 2, a black and a black. If you cast a spell for its bestow cost, it's an Arua with enchant creature. It becomes a creature again if it's not attached to a creature. Night Howler and enchanted creature each get +X, where X is the number of creature cards in all graveyards. Alright, we're on to our next half of the deck, which is cards, and lands. Yippee. Nimrath. 4, a black and a black for a 4/4 creature horror. Fear. This creature can't be blocked except by creatures and or black creatures. Suspend 7, 1 and a black. Rather than cast a spell from your hand, you may pay 1 and a black and exile it with 7 time counters on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, remove a time counter. When the last time counter is removed, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. It has haste. When a card is put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, if Nimlith is suspended, you may remove a time counter from Nimlith. Sewer Nemesis. 3 and a black for a star creature horror. As Sewer Nemesis enters the battlefield, choose a player. Sewer Nemesis power and toughness are equal to the number of cards in the chosen player's graveyard. Whenever the chosen player casts a spell, that player mills a card. Rose Strider. 2 and a black for a 3/2 creature horror. When Rose Strider enters the battlefield, create a 0/1 white goat creature token. Sacrifice another creature, scry 1. Escape. 3 and a black for exile 4 other cards from your graveyard. You may cast this card from your graveyard for its escape cost. Rose Strider escapes with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. Consuming Aberration. 3, a blue and a black for a star creature horror. Consuming Aberration power and toughness are equal to the number of cards in your opponent's graveyards. When you cast a spell, each opponent reveals cards from the top of their library until they reveal a land card. Then puts those cards into your graveyard. Memory Plunder. Hybrid blue-black, hybrid blue-black, hybrid blue-black, hybrid blue-black. Instant. You may cast target instant or sorcery card from an opponent's graveyard without paying its mana cost. Nemesis of Reason. 3, a blue and a black for a 3/7 creature Leviathan horror. When Nemesis of Reason attacks, the defending player mills 10 cards. That's a lot. Phyrexian Revoker for 2 mana, 2 generic mana. You get a 2/1 artifact creature, Phyrexian Horror. As Phyrexian Revoker enters the battlefield, choose a non-land card name. Activated abilities of sources with the chosen name can't be activated. Phoceus Crawler. For 5 mana, you get a star artifact creature, Phyrexian Horror. Phoceus Crawler's power and toughness are equal to the number of cards in your hand. When you draw a card, each opponent loses 1 life. Spellskite. For 2 generic mana, you get a 0/4 artifact creature, Phyrexian Horror. And then you get this weird blue thingy. Change a target of spell or ability to Spellskite, whatever that is, can be paid with either blue or 2 life. Choked Exteri. Land. As Choked Exteri enters the battlefield, you may reveal an island or swamp card in your hand. If you don't, Choked Exteri enters the battlefield, tap it. Tap this card at blue or black. Creeping Tar Pit. Land, Creeping Tar Pit enters the battlefield. Tap, tap, add blue or black. 1 and a blue and a black. For Creeping Tar Pit becomes a 3/2 black, blue, blue, black, elemental creature, blue, black, elemental creature until end of turn. It can't be blocked this turn. It's still a land. Dark Water Catacombs. Land, 1, tap this card, add blue and black. Drown Yard Temple. Land, tap this card, add generic mana. 3, return Drown Yard Temple from your graveyard to the battlefield. Exotic Orchard. Land, tap this card, add 1 mana of any color that a land an opponent controls could produce. Nefla, Drown Yard. Land, tap, add 1. 1, a blue and a black. Target player mills 3 cards. River of Tears, tap, add blue. If you play the land this turn, add black instead. Sunken Hollow. Land, Island Swamp, tap, add blue or black. Sunken Hollow enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or more basic lands. Temple of Deceit. When Temple of Deceit enters the battlefield tapped. When Temple of Deceit enters the battlefield, scry 1, tap, add blue or black. Rogue's Passage, tap, add generic. 4 and tap this card. Target creature can't be blocked this turn. Tainted Isle. Land, tap this card, add generic mana, or tap this and add blue or black. Temple of the False Guard, tap, add 2 generic, activate only if you control 5 or more lands. And we have We have 9 blue. And we have 11 black. And we also have this thick card. Well, guys, I think that's it for the video. I'm going to show you my face. Nope, I'm not. Never mind. Alright, this is the end of this video. Thank you, and look at all the cards we have unboxed. Thank you, and goodbye. See you in the next video.